Hello, my name is Makeda Mahadeo and you are watching a CNBC Africa special. Over the past decade, Kenya has been one of the fastest adopters of cashless payments in Africa, largely driven by the introduction of the revolutionary M-Pesa mobile money product. And today, we'll be speaking to an entrepreneur who's thrived as a result. TerryAnne Chebet has had quite the rise in the beauty industry with her company, Keyara Organics. And today we'll be discussing how using digital payments helped her to elevate her business. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today, TerryAnne. Before we get into this line of questioning, before we learn more about your company and how digital payments really helped out, could you just start off and give us a bit of context as to who TerryAnne is as a woman, as an entrepreneur?
Thank you so much, Makeda. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today. As you say, I am an entrepreneur, and with a story that actually started off in journalism. I actually used to work for CNBC, so I'm very proud to be here today. And so I'm a former journalist turned entrepreneur. I currently I'm a founder and CEO of Keyara, which is a skincare line that is focused on creating high quality products for the African man, the African woman, the African child. We have grown over the years, from a company that just provided shea butter for our audience to a company that has diversified. Today, we currently have over 12 products that we sell within Kenya currently. And I'm a mother of two. I also really love creating content, so I'm an all-round sort of busy woman, busy mom, busy entrepreneur. But I've loved the journey so far, Makeda.
So you told us that you started Keyara Organics by providing shea butter, but could you tell us a bit more about how you managed to turn that into the company that it is today? And also, how long have you been operating?
All right. So I first started off in my kitchen, as most cottage industries begin, packaging in my home, selling from the boot of my car or to friends who came home. So Keyara Organics officially launched in 2016. However, the company itself really started off in 2014, very informally. And then when I saw that there's viability for actually the business to grow, then I fully launched in 2016. And it's been an incredible journey, because listening to our clients who say, yes, we like the shea butter, but my child is facing this, or my husband has this, or this is what I'm looking for. So it's been a journey of listening to our clients, and then also looking at the global trends and what's happening internationally, and making sure that we are creating products that make sense for our audiences. And it's been a growth, of course, from moving from the kitchen and now working with contract manufacturers, and also creating a brand that has become more visible on the Kenyan shelves, creating an online platform where the majority of our business actually happens today. So it's been an incredible journey of learning. One, it's also been a journey of really engaging to find out what is our client looking for. One, two, how can we create a product that will compete with the multinational products that fill our African shelves today, especially in Kenya, where we are. So the journey has been about finding our space, finding the right products. And the space that we come into internationally, there's a lot of companies that have really invested in their R&D such that the end product is great. So for us, it's also been finding collaborations within that space where we get to benefit from research and development from multinational companies, and then creating products that are truly and authentically African, but with the quality of an international product, such that, my dream is to see Keyara. Of course, we are in Nairobi. I want to see it on South African shelves. I want to see it in Nigeria. I want to see it in London. I want to see it in New York. So that's been the journey, but that is the vision and where we want the company to go. And of course, the digital platform has helped flatten the world in that sense, where about 90% of our business today actually happens on our online shop.
Right, and I do want to get a bit more into that a bit later. But first, could you tell us about your relationship with Visa and how partnering with them has helped you to achieve some of the things that you have so far, and how you think it'll help you to achieve, getting your product there in South Africa, there in New York, as you just mentioned?
Mhm. So the partnership with Visa for us as Keyara is came at the perfect time, the perfect timing for us. Over the last couple of months, our business has transitioned from retail, that retail space where it is shop front, not our shops, but shops that we were working with in the retail space. And over the last couple of months, we've had to be very flexible to ensure, especially with COVID, with less human interaction, our government has given a directive to reduce as much as possible cash transactions in terms of hard cash. So we've had to be extremely flexible in making sure that we're now driving our business to the digital platform. That has now meant that, working with Visa has enabled us have those transactions happen in a much faster and easier way. And one of the other really exciting things, and in Kenya today, most of our deliveries are done using a motorbike. And our current partnerships has now is heading to a space where our riders will now be equipped with an MPOS gadget, so that if they do not want to pay using a mobile money platform, then they're able to just swipe their card and the rider will come directly to you with with the POS system. So it's been a really timely conversation with Visa. It's helped us really formalize our business very quickly, because the other thing is, as a small business, cash is something that could easily be diverted into somewhere else. But now, making sure that our money just goes directly from from the customer to the bank, and less interaction with ourselves, because then there's other needs, and there's always other needs with a small business, and it's easy to divert the money somewhere else. So that has really helped us formalize the business a lot more.
Right. There is this campaign that Visa is running right now that we've been seeing, Where You Shop Matters. Can you tell us just a bit about what that campaign means to you?
All right. So Where You Shop Matters is a tagline, of course, by Visa Kenya, that has really sort of fallen in line with what I'm doing. When I started a campaign called 100 Kenyan Brands in 100 Days, which is basically it's a project that I wanted to do. It's very different from, it has no relationship with Visa, but we are actually doing the same thing in terms of supporting local brands, growing the small business space. And Where You Shop Matters does exactly that. It's looking for the small business heroes. I'm currently doing something with Visa also for YouTube, called Biashara Talk, which goes out to these young small businesses that are operating within Kenya and showcasing their stories, with an aim of getting the visibility, for this small business. So Where You Shop Matters basically says, can you shop at a Kenyan, small business, so that you also begin to drive up, sales for these small businesses, because the impact they make is so huge. It's a lot bigger than we really think. And for me personally, I've been asking, online and elsewhere, that if you have a local option, please buy the local option before you settle for the multinational option, because you're growing a lot more people. And honestly, most times the quality is actually quite great. It's just that sometimes from a perception perspective and where we come from, we often look at local products as not such high quality products, but there are some amazing products out there. So Where You Shop Matters, and of course my 100 Kenyan Brands campaign, really speak to the same thing, for us as Africans to buy local, because that way we then build local.
Right, and it doesn't seem as though there has been an easier time to buy local now that a lot of these payments have been made digital. I know you touched on it quite a bit, but if you could just elaborate for us about how your operations personally benefited from digitizing those payments, and how easy it was to get people on board with them.
Thank you, Makeda. So when we started off, of course, we didn't see the digital space being as big as it is today. And so we focused on trying to get our products on the shelves because we felt that, a woman wants to go and feel and touch a product. But this COVID period has really changed that, and we've seen that sales have begun to go higher than sometimes they have before, based on the campaigns we're giving, based on the communication as well that we're giving, and based on the experience that they've had in the past with us as a brand. So one of the things we quickly did, we've partnered with a local company that has enabled us to ensure that our back end on the platform side works super effectively. And we say within Nairobi, we'll deliver within the same day. Countrywide, we'll deliver between 1 and 2 days, depending on, of course, proximity to Nairobi and how you're geographically placed within the country. So the digitizing, or getting onto the digital platforms, was not difficult because of the partners that we used, and they were already on the online already engaging online, so it was not as difficult. However, we've had to really focus on digital marketing and teaching our clients how to transact. And it's pretty simple, but just creating a sense of trust, because there's a lot of that in terms of buying online. Will I get exactly what I'm looking for? And so for us, it's been a lot of engagement with our audiences to tell them, you'll get the exact product, you'll get it in good quality, you'll get it, it hasn't been tampered with, and it will be delivered directly to your home. So less human transactions, very quick online, the online process is less than a minute, way less than a minute. And if you're in Nairobi, you get the delivery immediately. So that has been the first journey. The second one, of course, was on the marketing side and putting a bigger marketing budget to ensure that we are more visible online, because there are clients who already know us, they know where to find us, but there's many who don't, who we really need to get onto our side. So we had to invest more on the marketing side. We sort of almost doubled our marketing budget, and we can see the fruits of that, because we have had a lot more people discovering us, and when we use our analytics, we can see what they're looking for, what they're trying to find, and that way then we sort of tweak our marketing to reach them. So and on the other side, we also wanted to make sure our business was more formalized, because and as you mentioned in your intro, the mobile money space has really grown over the last couple of years, but we also wanted to make it that from the online transactions, the money goes directly to the bank, so that we don't have to handle it or to deal with it. So then, as a small business, and it's important for us to make sure that our credit history and our bank history, reflect what the business is actually like, because sometimes money gets stuck in between somewhere. It could move from phone to phone easier than it will move from phone to bank. So for us, this particular digital payments with Visa has enabled us to move from transaction to bank very easily. And from a formalizing perspective, because that's one of the challenges small businesses face on handling money. You need to buy product tomorrow. I have the money on my phone. Why can't I buy it immediately? And it's not necessarily within the strategy or the weekly plan. So that has been one of the greatest gains that we've had as a small business. And going forward, we are also hoping that we will continue to really focus on digital. Currently, about 95% of our business happens on the digital platform, and we would like to move that up slightly to about 99. It's a lot more better on keeping costs low as well, because then the person in between us and the clients or the people then gets a little bit tighter. So that's where we want to go on the digital side.
Right. You spoke about trying to tap into the wider market, using that digital marketing strategy that you've invested a bit more into. So the market, as you know, is there. How do you think that these digital payments are going to help to grow the beauty industry in Kenya at large?
Mhm. So first of all, the fact that, I can sell online and anybody can, buy from any country. Let's say Uganda, for instance. Before, with the digital or the mobile payments that we had, that would only mean that our clients in Kenya, for instance, could access it. But once I have, a transaction service that allows my customer, no matter where they are in the world, to access my product, then that makes our growth faster. It makes our footprint growth a lot faster. We're currently in conversation with freighting companies, and especially because now that we have Visa, I'm able to then sell my product to anybody in London or in whatever part of the world, because our platform now allows us to sell to anybody. So once those conversations with the freighting companies are done, then it's an automatic, we can be that global company that we've always wanted to be. So it's been incredible, and fingers crossed that that happens fast, because freighting has also been quite expensive, especially shipping from Africa to Europe and to the US. So we're hoping that our conversations will yield fruit very quickly, and then we'll be able to access other countries as well. And in Kenya, and I've seen Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, there's quite a number of young and new brands coming up in the skincare space, and they're growing pretty fast. And the market is there, as you say, Makeda. And especially now with borders falling either due to COVID or borders getting closer, then the faster we adapt to payment platforms that allow us to access other markets, then the faster our companies will grow. So it's a journey that all entrepreneurs have to look at with great foresight and be very flexible to quickly change our business models to ensure that we take advantage of the opportunities that are now coming to us, especially from access to global markets perspective.
Right. You mentioned that you are speaking to these freighting companies, and it has been one of the challenges that you've faced, albeit, that it's working out. How do you think that this is going to how do you think this is going to be alleviated throughout this year and the rest of, maybe, let's say, your 5-year plan? We've seen that infrastructure issues, non-tariff barriers, these freighting problems has been a huge challenge to many entrepreneurs throughout the entire region. How do you think that that's going to play out? Now that payments have been taken care of and that's much easier, do you think that this is going to be the next frontier to be eased for you?
Makeda, I'll use a local example in terms of getting and the challenge we had right in the beginning, getting our products on the shelves. So think about it like this: our suppliers and the retailers that we approached were used to working with multinational companies because nobody locally was really creating the kind of products that many of us are now creating within the natural skincare space, natural hair space, products for the African woman, product for, hair and etc. So in the beginning, it was difficult, but more and more, it is becoming easier to come across a Kenyan product on a Kenyan supermarket, to come across Kenyan products online. And because of that, it's almost as if the skincare the skincare space has been liberalized. And I always say the more of us are on the shelves, the better it is and the faster it is for the African skincare space to grow. So because of that, I feel that using this sort of with the same kind of thinking, the freighting companies, other Africans will begin to see that they can be, first the other Africans will begin to see that they can use, believe, trust, and actually appreciate the quality of local brands. And once we begin to see that, it will be easier for somebody in Uganda to say, I can buy Keyara Organics from Kenya. It's just a bus ride away, or it's a plane away. I'll receive it next day, maybe 2 days at most. And it'll only be easier once many of us begin to do it. And if there's 10 Keyaras, 5 Keyaras, 20, 30 of us, then we can negotiate better. And if the multinationals, because they are the ones who do the freighting mostly, then see that there is a viability and they can possibly make some money through this, then we can negotiate better. And if we're getting people buying in bulk, of course it will be cheaper. But sometimes if I buy something, let's say on Amazon for myself, it will be one thing. But now, somebody has to order like 5 or 10 things for it to make sense for them if they're ordering from me, using freighting companies that we have not negotiated with. So my thinking is, in a sense, as the industry grows, the skincare industry grows, we become more visible, then we'll have a little bit more muscle to be able to negotiate with other partners on that value chain. And, maybe I'm a little bit more optimistic than I should be, but I am. And I'm beginning to see that some of the other skincare brands within the space that I'm in have already, gotten to a place where they're easily able to export their products. Have negotiated with freighting companies. It is a little bit more expensive than it should be, but the more of us do that, then the cheaper it will be, and maximizing on the economies of scale for the freighting companies.
TerryAnne, please keep your optimism, because I think it has helped you with your growth so far. And you have a point there, demand on both sides, on the industry side as well as on the client side, will definitely make a big difference. We've seen throughout this pandemic, because of lockdowns and different circumstances surrounding it, a lot of people have turned to entrepreneurship or have turned their focus to entrepreneurship when maybe it was just, as they say, a side hustle before, or an extra form of income. What are some of the things you considered, rather, that made you take the full leap into entrepreneurship when you did?
Mm-hmm. So I decided to take the full leap after I realized that if I gave my business just 50% of the attention that I've given to my job, then it would be on a completely different level, which is why the side hustle thing doesn't always work as well as it should, because your focus is not 100% on your business. Most of the time you're working for somebody else, or you're doing something else, and you just give 10% of your time and your energy and your focus to your business. After looking at the viability and where I know the company can get to, I just made the decision, and I said, no, I owe myself a chance. I owe myself a chance to get my company to succeed, and I would not be able to do that if I was fully employed. So that's when I decided to make the leap. It was a leap of faith, and especially it was during the COVID period is when I made the final leap. And a lot of people were like, "Are you sure? Like, this is it the right time?" And I said, "This is the right time." And I can begin to see, when I was there, we were able to fully automate the business, take it digital fully. And sometimes I wish I left a little earlier, but I'm glad I did, when I did, because now I know that if this business fails, it's because I failed. If the business succeeds, it's because I put 100% into it. So that's in a nutshell why I made the big jump.
TerryAnne, your story is already an inspiration for fellow entrepreneurs waiting to perhaps make that leap. But do you have any tips of motivation or to encourage some of these entrepreneurs who are still on the fence?
Yes, absolutely. One, I'll say just start. And the reason I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship is, if we look at the employment or unemployment numbers in Africa, or just the number of, those leaving high school, those leaving universities into the job market that is not there, a lot of young people will probably have to look at the entrepreneurship side, either as they wait to get a job, or just make a decision to start something. And so I started off Keyara with about $600, which was out of my salary. And I started with 2 buckets of shea butter and some containers, which I acquired. And I just started. So using, just looking back at how I did and where I came from. And sometimes we think as entrepreneurs that we must start big, we must wait for the big money to come in, we must wait for investors, we must wait for the bank loan. But I am a strong believer in starting small and then growing from there. And starting small allows you to almost pilot it and allows you to learn a lot faster. It brings in the discipline that you will need when the company is big a lot more faster. So I'll just say, as a word of advice, start. Start quickly, start now, start with what you have. And of course, taking advantage of the social media space and growing your brand effectively with all the tools that are available for us today. I mean, when I started off the business, it's Google, that basically taught me how to run a business. I learned everything on, from packaging to getting labels to buying containers, everything I learned online. So it's a lot easier now to start a business. It's a lot easier now to build a brand. It's a lot easier to actually be an entrepreneur now than it ever has been, especially with the perceptions changing and more people looking inward and saying, what can I buy that is made by, a Kenyan, made by an African. So I would say there has never been a better time to be an entrepreneur in Africa.
Which one wouldn't expect that you would say, especially with the pandemic, but with everything moving online, you have certainly provided some good inspiration for that. I want to say thank you so much, TerryAnne, for joining us, giving us that very clear and concise message of just start. I think it's one that many of these entrepreneurs will be taking. And I want to say thank you to all of you for watching. This has been a CNBC Africa special where we have been sitting down with entrepreneur TerryAnne Chebet. She is the owner and founder of Keyara Organics. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Makeda Mahadeo, and I'll see you the next time.